This is my first tutorial for Godot, first tutorial ever, so if there's anything that you notice that needs to be, I don't know, improved or what have you, let me know in the comments. Basically, we're going to make a global signals tutorial. So basically, global signals are a powerful feature of Godot. Signals are powerful on their own, but this to me is quite a bit more powerful. Global signals are truly like shouting into a loudspeaker in the middle of a city and not caring who can hear, and they can make decisions on their own based on what they do here. So we will start by creating a new project. Nope. 4.2 projects, global signals. Don't need that. Create and edit. Alright, so the first thing we will do is we will create a new folder, call this autoload, and in autoload we'll create a new script. We will call this signal manager. Alright. So in our signal manager we will toss everything. Now what I like to do with this is so you don't have to kind of remember later what each signal uses for parameters. I'll put signal, and we'll do one called player hit, and we'll do one called player health changed. Alright, and we will do, oops, description. This is emit player takes damage. And this will emit anytime the player's health changes. And we'll do parameters. And we'll go damage, which will be a float. And for this, we will do the health, which is a float, and max health, which is a float. Alright. So now we will go into our project settings, auto load, signal manager. Alright. So now we will create a basic level scene. Call this level. Go up. Oh, can't go up. Create folder, levels. Alright. Now we will add a script. We'll just call it level manager. Don't need that. So the first thing we will do is go back here, add a progress bar, Stretch that out, doesn't matter how big. We'll add a label. Just throw that on the end. And we'll just say 0 at 0, just so there's something there. We'll name this health label. Name this health bar. Alright. So now in our script, we are going to get references to those elements. So on ready, variable, health bar, progress bar, as health bar, and we'll say health label is a label. Health label. Oops. All right. In our ready, we'll do signal manager dot connect player health changed. It's a callable for self to player health changed. And then we will call a function called setupLevel. Create our player health change function. Turns void. Alright, so we will say health bar dot max value equals, oh, we missed health as a float and max health as a float. And we will say max health, and leave that wrong. We'll do health bar dot value equals health, and health label dot text equals health, oops, do string health plus slash and then plus string max health, and we'll do function setup level returns void, and we'll set it to pass. Come back to that later. Why is that complaining? Oh, missing a bracket right there. Okay. All right. So now we will create a new player scene with other node. So character body 2D. We will add a collision shape just to get rid of that warning. Create a new folder for this. We'll just call it player. And player scene, save. We'll add a sprite, 2D. Doesn't really matter, but I'll name it player sprite. Alright, I think that's all we necessarily need to add there. So put the player sprite, we'll just throw our icon in there. And we'll close it. Now, we will, oops, no, we didn't want to close it. We wanted to change this, just change it to player, and add a script. Create. Don't want any of this because we're not caring about moving, we're just basically showing signals. So we're going to use getters, get and set. The reason I'm going to use that is because it allows signals to be sent automatically once a variable changes. So we're going to do var health, which is float, equals 0.0. I'm going to do get, return health, set value, and we're going to do health equals clamp F, val variable 0, and max health. So that'll never get higher than maximum health and never lower than 0. It's automatically checked and dealt with. Why is this complaining now? Oh, max health not declared. That's fine. We're going to declare it. I'll declare it up here. Max health equals 0, to float equals 0.0. That one doesn't need a get set for this. And after we do that, we're going to do the signal manager. We're going to emit a signal. Player health changed. And we're going to emit with health and max health. Now we're going to do function ready. And in here, we're going to connect signal manager.connect. Say player hit. Do callable to self player hit. And then we're going to change, so we'll set our max health to equal 300.0.0, and we'll set our health to equal max health. Okay, so when it's ready, it's going to just set our max health to 300, and it's going to automatically set us to full health. And then we'll do our player hit function. Function player hit returns void. And in there, all we're going to do is health minus equals damage. And we need parameter in that for damage. And I think that's all we need for the player. We'll save that scene and close it. Create a new scene of other type. Do character body 2D. Call it enemy. We'll add collision shape. And we'll just set that to circle. And save it. New folder, enemy. Save as enemy scene. I want that to be capital because it's just the way I am. Okay, and then we want to add a sprite, 2D. We'll call this enemy sprite. We will give it the icon, and we'll just modulate it to red, sure. And we will add a script. Again, we don't need this stuff. So, oh, we forgot. You'll want to add a timer. We'll call it attack timer. We'll give it 2 seconds, an auto start. And then we will do the script. Alright, so we'll get a reference to the attack timer, which is type timer equals $attack timer. And then we'll do function. Save that. Go back to the attack timer node. We'll do a timeout signal connection. And then in here, we'll do var damage float equals rand f range. We'll do 1.0 to 5.0. So it'll give us a random damage number just for giggles. And then in the signal manager, we'll emit a signal. We will emit the player hit. And we will send the damage along with it. And that's about all we need for that. So basically the enemy is just going to be spawned in. Immediately the timer will start going, and every 2 seconds you're going to get damaged by 1 to 5 to simulate an enemy attacking you. So we can close that, and the level manager, we want to set up the instantiation now. So we want player scene. We want packed scene equals preload. And then we'll go to our player scene, copy path. We'll do enemy scene, packed scene equals preload. And we'll just do that, but we'll change this to enemy. So now we have preloaded an enemy and a player scene, and in the setup, which it's called on ready, we're just going to instantiate both of those just to show, we're not adding them directly to the list, so we don't necessarily have a connection to them. We could could add as many enemies as we want, and they can do the signals through the global manager. We don't need to have any links from that enemy to a data bus of some sort saying, hey, tell the player he's been hit through references and whatnot. So this just shows the ease of use of this. So we'll do a player variable, and we'll do player scene, instantiate, we'll add child player, and then just because we'll set the player position, spell it right. Oops. We'll do 100, 100. Now we'll do enemy scene, instantiate, add child enemy, and we'll do enemy dot position as a vector 2 of, say, 400, 400. All right, so if everything worked out, you should see this go full and this say 300 to 300. You should see a player here, an enemy there, and then every 2 seconds you'll see this tick down. So select current. Oh, no, we have an issue. So level manager player health changed. Max value null instance. Let's stop that. Now I tested this and it worked. So what's going on here? So the signal manager doesn't matter. Level manager. So I don't understand here. Oh, health bar, health label. Okay, so level manager. How did that get lowercase again? Did I do that wrong in the first place? Try this again. Still no go. Health bar, what? Why is it doing that? Stay. Alright, there we go. So, you got your player, your enemy, and basically every 2 seconds he's just doing some random damage. Actually, what I might do, just for display purposes, is we will go back to the enemy. Nope, we want the level manager. And let's just do int conversion. Just so it doesn't have all that extra decimals. So that was a 4, you know, like so every 2 seconds it'll just automatically damage. And then if we wanted to just add an enemy, you could have it for a loop or what have you, it doesn't really matter. 600. So now we have 2 enemies, and they're both every 2 seconds. They're both hitting now. So like you got, what is that, 6? So that automatically is over the 5. So that's a combination of damage from both. And if we wanted to, we could go to the enemy and just do a print. Player attacked. And show how much damage. If we play it again, we'll see he did 3.9, 3.1, 1.4, so they're both attacking. We don't have a connection through the level, it's just doing the global signals. So this guy is telling this guy, I hit you. He's changing his HP. So the enemy says, hey, I just hit a player for this much. Player says, hey, I'm listening to that. Okay, I got hit that much. I'm just going to change my health. And then because of the get set, it makes sure that the health is between 0 and the maximum. In case you heal up, you never go over max, or in case you get hit, you never go below 0. You just die at 0. And then from there, it emits a signal saying, hey, my health changed. This is my max health. You could separate these into 2 signals. Just for this tutorial, I'm just showing both in one. And then you would go and wherever wants to hear that. So here it's a level manager. It says, hey, the player health has changed. I better set those elements. So you could have this player health change. Say you wanted to have a floating damage indicator. You could tell it would instantiate the damage scene and have it animated to rise and fade out or whatever. You could have a bar over top of the player, then it could also change. What I'll do as well is I'll show, because of these signals now, if you were to go to if you were to take this, just for giggles, now there's no reason you should need this, but if we go ready, and we just connect to the player health changed, and we go function player health changed. Now, let's say we don't care about what the health has been changed. We just want to know that it has been changed. So this signal is going to come with 2 variables. It's going to come with the current health and the maximum health. But we don't necessarily want those values, because all we're going to do is print from the enemy. Oops. Player received damage, and we'll just do, oops, that's it, right? So now we save this, we hit play, and we don't get that display. We check our debugger, we get that the method expected 0 arguments, but it was called with 2. So it errors out, it never gets called. What you need to do is do an unbind 2 arguments. Don't forget your extra bracket. And now when we hit play, we will get player received damage. Now, it's going to do it twice because the player gets hit twice, and then there's 2 enemies, so the enemy's going to get the signal twice, so you get 4 signals per 2 attacks. There's plenty of ways to stop that. Basically, you could send along, not necessarily with the health change, but with the player hit, you could send along the body of the collision. Let's say you do a collision check for damage. You could send the body along with it, and then if self equals body or whatever, you can filter out. I won't be showing that in this example, but it's just one way to get around signals, because the signals don't care, that they get sent out and everybody listening picks them up. So you'll have to figure out on your own how you want to filter those signals, so that, let's say you only cared if this enemy did damage and you connected to player hit or whatever, and you sent along the body as well as the damage. Uh, if body equals self, right, then it would only print this if that were the case. Now, of course, we're not sending bodies, so that's not going to work. So hopefully this will help you understand the global signal system and how easy it is to just basically add a signal to a signal manager, and then just emit it anywhere. Doesn't really care. The signal manager is global, right? So absolutely everything in your game could emit any signal from the signal manager. It doesn't need to have its own signal defined, and every single object in the game, seen in the game, can connect to the signal manager signals, and it's just a matter of managing the data. So if there's anything that I did not quite right, or maybe something that would have made this tutorial better or future ones better, as this is my first, I'm going to try to start doing more as I learn more about Godot. Just let me know in the comments. Thank you.